don't like pets. They don't like people. And they don't like you. From the producers of Independence Day and Godzilla.
What exactly is that? Spider-Man.
Eight-legged freaks, rated PG-13.
I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Choose a side in a Clone Wars.
Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to Clone Wars, where two similar pieces of media clash to be crowned champion. Two go in, and only one comes out. And these spiders today, they are neither incy-wincy or itsy-bitsy. They are fucking massive. And I'm here with another massive podcasting talent. It is super massive Maff. And he's returning again to talk animals, to talk the world of the wildlife. And we're going to compare two films. We are going to compare Eight-Legged Freaks and Big Ass Spider. And he's making another big ass appearance. Making a big ass of yourself.
Glad to see you on the webcam.
Way.
Unfortunately, there isn't that many puns this time. I was really struggling. I wrote a few down and it's like, yeah, they're just... They don't work as well, unfortunately.
No. I guess, yeah, there's not really as many, not quite as many bear puns as we could pull out of the last one. But I thought since that was my most popular podcast of last year, I thought, why don't we come back and look at another pair of wild and wacky films? And again, 2024 is for the patrons, which you are one of them. So, and I know how quick you are to vote, Maff. Sometimes you're so quick to vote, you go, no, I picked the wrong thing, I can't change it. Shooting your load, shooting your webbing all over the place before you've had a chance to even think about it. You're so excited to vote. But we have ended up with two Spider movies. We did have other options that you picked out. I gave you a few options for some ideas, and you've gone with those. But this is the one they went with. So we're going with the Spider theme. So, Maff, we are looking at Eight-Legged Freaks and Big F Spider. Have you seen these before?
Eight-legged Freaks, yes. Big Ass Spider, never heard of it.
Okay, right. There might be something to that. We'll get into it.
Eight-legged Freaks. I did go and see that in the cinema when it came out. I thought it would be a good date night movie.
Yeah. Was it with your missus?
No, unfortunately, it was just a bit before, because I think it was 2002. So
it was, yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit before I met Amanda. Yes,
such a player, Maff. Such a player.
Well, I don't mind spiders. The amount of times I have come home.
Did you go on a date with a spider, Maff? Is that what you're saying? She was a black widow, was she?
Not quite. We didn't see the end of the film because she didn't like spiders.
Oh, really?
And it's like, yeah, but you knew what it was. But I mean,
it is called Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah. I think we got about 20 minutes into it, and she says, "I can't watch this."
Really?
Like, oh no, but no. So I don't think I saw her again after that anyway. So
really, wow.
So,
she made it. She didn't make that good an impression then, or you didn't make that good an impression. You were like, he's forcing me to watch icky spiders.
I suppose in my mind back then, I probably thought she might be a bit scared. She might get a bit of a cuddle.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Adrenaline's going. Jump into your arms. Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, I took her home, and that was kind of it. So
took her home. Never see you again.
So yeah,
I'm sure she trapped some of the poor sod in her web. I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I'll come home now. I'm the only one in the house who's not scared of spiders. So the amount of times I've come home and there's like a cup or a bowl in the middle of the floor, there's obviously a spider under there. Everyone's gone up to bed and they've just left it there for me to deal with.
Oh dear.
So,
Oh, dear. You're the hero. You're the hero.
I mean, I posted in Discord today. I picked one up earlier. It was only a tiny one, but I don't like to kill them. If I can, I will try and get them out of the house and that. But it's like I've said before, I wouldn't be surprised if I came home and the house was on fire and my oldest would be going, "There was a spider, Dad," and they'd be like,
Burning it all down.
Yeah, he's petrified of them. But it's one of those things. I'm scared of snakes, so I do get the fear.
I get it.
But,
I get it.
But spiders, it's like they're not really in our country. They're not really going to do much to you.
No, I guess not. They're not. We're not known for having big ones or poisonous ones or deadly ones in some form. But yeah, I'm not a massive like they don't bother me as much. The only time they bother me is when they surprise me, is or their speed, just the way they move. Like all of a sudden, it's just like but like money spiders and smaller ones. Back in 2019, 2020, I lived in a flat, and it was a very old flat. It didn't even have double glazing at the time, and I was freezing most nights. I had to get like an electric blanket to fucking survive. It was that fucking cold. It was horrible. Right when I was kind of starting the podcast is when I lived there. And I when I got there was like a lot of matting in the carpet, like this kind of, it just looked like it'd never been kind of like brushed or anything. It was just like dust or netting or something. And I was kind of just like rearranging things and cleaning stuff and what have you. And I found loads of conkers. And I was like, what the fuck? Just random conkers everywhere.
Very clever.
And I thought, I was like, is this some sort of religious practice or some sort of like good omen for the flat or something? And I put it on Facebook, and I was like, I've just found a ton of conkers around this flat. It's like, and it was like there was a bathroom, a kitchen, and then the living room / bedroom. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was like almost like some sort of, I thought it was some sort of like cult, or I had no idea what it was. It could have been anything. I had no idea. I was unaware of it. But I moved them, and people were like, "Oh, that's to keep spiders away. Keep spiders out. They don't like them." And I went, "Okay, I didn't know that." And lo and behold, the giant spider invasion occurred. It's like one night later, they all started fucking coming out. And again, I got nothing against them, but I was like, "Fuck that." Old wives' tale is absolutely true. Like, I had no idea, but so guess where the conkers went back? They all went back.
We used to have them around the house quite often because, as I say, everyone else in the house is scared of them. Then when George was born, we had to be a bit careful, so they got put a bit. And we've got cats who like to bat them around everywhere. But we've got the spider plugs, which they don't really work.
Right.
There's like a spray, which is, I think it's made up of the conker smell. And it's like, just shout me and I'll just move them. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. My mum, she used to she's not a big fan of spiders. She even commented on one of my posts the other day when I was watching these films, and she used to hoover them up. She'd get the hoover and just suck them up, the poor things. And they're just like, getting sucked into oblivion. And yeah, any time, like she made like a game out of it. Like my sister loved her watching her do it. So yeah, very, very bizarre way of getting rid of spiders, but there you have it.
I've come home and, like Amanda said to me, says you need to empty Hoover. It's like there's a spider in there. Right, fair enough.
I can't use it if there's a spider in there. I can't use it. I know it's there. I know it's in there. It's gonna get to me. It's gonna get on my nerves.
What's it gonna do? It's not gonna hoover up for you. It's not that big. It's worse when
I want to see someone create some animation of just a spider hoovering up. If anyone wants to create that image and send it to me, I would love to see just a spider, just with a Dyson, just hoovering up. I want that. I want to see that.
Hoovering a human up.
Yeah, that I want to see. Well, I mean, these spiders we're going to be talking about could hoover a human up, and some of them even do. Suck them right up. But yes, we're going to be talking about eight-legged freaks that you had seen before, and Big Ass Spider, which you said you hadn't. Was that right?
Yes.
So as always, Maff, you're an old pro at this. We're going to go through the reasons for comparison. So feel free to add your own as we go along, but I've picked out a few. Here we go. Both are tongue-in-cheek, campy pastiches on the giant spider movies of the 1950s, such as Tarantula and Earth versus the Spider. Both titles are pulled from dialogue within the films themselves. Both feature gun-toting, hapless, mustachioed sidekicks. Both quote Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Both feature a romantic subplot. Both feature spider experts. Both feature humans being cocooned. Both finales occur in a spider's nest. And both films feature cast and crew that worked on the TV show Heroes.
What Eight-Legged Freaks was Heroes?
So it was one of the writers worked on Heroes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I said cast and crew.
Yes.
Cast and crew. So, but yeah, Greg Thunberg was in Heroes. But yeah, it was just something I was digging around in my research that I found out. But yes, those are our reasons for comparison. Do you have any of your own math that you could think of off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. There's more than what I thought you were going to have there. So, but yeah,
I'm
as
sure
we go along,
I'm
we might
sure there's
come up with
more.
some.
I'm sure there's
Yeah.
more, and I'm sure people are screaming at the podcast device that they're listening through, and they're going, "Why didn't you mention this? Why aren't you doing this? There's this one. It's so obvious, Dan. Maff, tell him." But no, we're going to talk about first Eight-Legged Freaks, which again came out in 2002. So, Maff, why don't you give us a brief rundown of the plot?
The brief, there is a old mining town, and they're kind of struggling. They've got a mall that they've put up, hoping to get some kind of, business that way. There is meant to be a mine in there with a gold vein in there, but no one ever found it. Then we see a wagon carrying, typical toxic waste. The barrel happens to fall off into the water, and there we go. Hilarity ensues.
That is how it opens.
Yeah. And, as I say, we go from there. You obviously got your spider expert, who's the first one to die.
Tom Noonan, yeah. Have you seen him in stuff before?
I recognise him. I can't. He's out of something like a Men in Black or something like that.
Yeah, he's in.
No, is he Last Action Hero? Is he the?
Yes, he is. That's him. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Ripper. That's him.
The Ripper from Last Action. That's where I knew.
Yeah, that's him. He's also in Manhunter, so the Hannibal Lecter film before.
Yes.
We're starring William Peterson from Live and Die in LA. Directed by Michael Mann. He's also in what else is he in? Have you seen oh gosh, what is it? Monster Club? Is it Monster Club? Monster Squad.
Wow, yes.
That's he's Frankenstein in Monster Squad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going back quite a few years, that.
Oh, a few, quite a few.
Well,
80, that was 87, I think. And Manhunter was 86. And that's 1993, I think, for Last Action Hero. But yeah, he's been in a few other things as well. You name it. He's always playing kind of a weird, aloof, unusual character.
You want a creepy guy. Here you go.
Yeah, him or like Vincent Schiavelli, who's the guy in Batman Returns or in Ghost, the weird ghost in the subway. Yeah. He's great. I love him. A great character actor. He was in Better Off Dead as well, that me and Tony covered.
Yeah.
All the connections. See, it's a big web. This is Prattle World. All the connections are coming back. But yeah, no, I absolutely love him. And I like when he plays a nice character, because usually he plays these weirdos or murderers or evil guys. So I like it when he's genuinely a nice guy. Yes, he does have long, creepy nails and he's a bit odd, but he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Kind of that creepy kind of. Nowadays, you probably won't fully trust him, but at the same point, he means well, and that he's no harm to anyone. He's just a bit odd.
An eccentric. Here's a question for you, Maff. With the opening of this film, like you are familiar with the Tiger King and all that went on with that, and do you think there's a critique here in this film of eccentric Americans owning exotic animals? Because there was an incident not so long ago in America where someone owned tigers and lions, and one of them
bears. Oh my!
Yeah,
sorry.
There you go. Already the puns are coming back. The bear. You can't stop mentioning bears. So yeah, and he got eaten, and these wild animals got out, and they were literally got on the highway, and they had to recapture them, and I think they killed the animals, unfortunately. But do you think there's maybe a critique here that if weird eccentric people owning these exotic animals?
The two magicians who had the white
Yes.
The white
Yeah,
tiger.
Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried
Yeah.
and Freud, yeah. You know, they do sometimes. You have these people, they've got more money than sense, and they think, do you know what? Michael Jackson with his bunky bubbles.
Sure, yeah.
You know, sometimes they think, well, I've got the money, I'll buy one of these, and someone else will deal with it. And then,
Clean up the
unfortunately,
mess. Yeah.
so it's one of those things of someone who's got more money than sense. Most, not always, because some people just, you know, you can take any animal. To be fair, some people think they can look after something and then they find out, oh, hang on a minute, it's a lot more work than what I thought. You know, maybe I shouldn't have 100 odd spiders.
Yes,
But
maybe not. Maybe not.
I think the class it as a spider farm, don't they?
Yeah, I think
in the
so.
film. So I don't know whether it's meant to be like a museum.
Yeah, I don't imagine he gets a lot of visitors though. Do you think
Yeah.
a lot of people are going in his camper van and you know going around? Apart from this young little lad, you know, do you think there's many people paying him visits?
No, not really. Again, yeah, I mean, you've got young lad who's very knowledgeable. He's like probably what I was at that age with dinosaurs. You know, you just get kind of infatuated with something, and you just got to kind of suck all that information in. So that kid's just like lapping it up. And there's a guy here who, as we're going through the film, there's no dad around, so I don't think he sees Joshua as a dad, but more like a big brother, maybe.
Yeah, like a mate. I think because I think he shares an interest, a fascination, and you know they're very specific into their things. But I think Tom Noonan's really good because he can provide like a childhood quality. Another film he's in, which I love, RoboCop 2. He's the villain in RoboCop 2. He's Kane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's in that as well, and he's great in that as well. Less so when he's the giant robot, but I like the giant robot anyway. But yeah, I think he's a wonderful actor. I think he's very underrated as a performer. But when he is given opportunity to shine, I think he's really good. I know he's only in this for a few minutes at most, but the way he's talking about the spiders, his passion and his fascination and his love and admiration for the spiders and describing what they do and how they do it, and then we get showcased what they can do, what their abilities are, each specific breed of spider. I think
it's a lot of foreshadowing there of kind of set up the film here with someone who knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. And the reason he's saying, "Oh, I've been feeding them these grasshoppers and they're growing," and it's like, you know, twice the size, they're getting bigger every day. And we learn that those are he's been taking them from the lake that's been drenched in toxic waste. Yeah, and that's why the spiders are getting big. One of them gets loose. He forgets put the top back on the I don't know, terrarium, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And it gets out, bites him, and then knocks over all the cases. But the spiders most of them are already loose, crawling up on the ceiling before he's knocked over anything. Like
some of them seem quite big. The amount that was there, you kind of thought you surely would have noticed this maybe an hour or so ago.
You would think so. But I'm glad it kind of gets on with it. Like it doesn't waste any time. Like it sets up all the characters quite well, and then you know you're well into the spider carnage by that point. And it's wonderful. Just like really real fun kind of stuff, like proper B-movie stuff.
It knows what it wants to be.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
that's what makes it work. It's meant to be cheesy. It's meant to be that tongue in cheek. It's David Arquette. I think he's very good in this role because he has that kind of scared. He can pull off certain facial expressions that you just buy into. He goes from that crazy wacky to that scared shitless.
He's great. I think he's perfect for this role because again, he's playing a lot of like what he does in Scream. He's kind of trying to be that heroic type, but you know he's absolutely shit scared at the same time, which I love. I love that him playing that, and you know he's trying to be this kind of romantic lead. Yeah, he's not quite sure of himself, but he's knocking people out that mention his dad. Recently, we did a podcast, me and Dan, on My Bloody Valentine. Did you notice any similarity to the plot of My Bloody Valentine to this?
Actually, yeah, with the mines, yeah. Actually,
so a guy leaves for a significant amount of time. His dad owns the mine. He comes back. There's a love interest that he's not been with, or he's missed, or he's always loved, and he's trying to get back with. Yeah, so there was a lot of kind of weird similarities. I didn't remember that about the film, but
I think there's more spiders in Eight-Legged Freaks than in My Bloody Valentine, though.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, not quite as many pickaxe deaths
No.
or banjo music or ballads of Harry Warden. But yeah, but there was some similarity there. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I've bloody seen this. A minute, I just
Yeah,
seen this, haven't I?
I didn't think of it that way until you just, and it's like, yeah, there is similarities, more to probably the remake than the original.
Yes, yeah, 3D, yeah, the 2009 version. I agree. There's more similarities with that one, but I guess it only came out a few years after, so I don't know if that maybe had some influence on it as well. But yeah, speaking of the cast, we've got I think it's Dougie Doug as this radio host, conspiracy theory. So I'm a big fan of the film Cool Runnings. However true it is, it's a wonderful
Is
John
he the one
Candy
who
film.
kept saying "kiss my egg"?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
He's Sanka. I want to say Sanka is his name.
Maybe.
He's the one who like rips his own dreads off when he's in the ice van. I think he's that character, but I think he's brilliant in this, and I think he's kind of almost a little bit ahead of his time as well, because nowadays we have these kind of like proper conspiracy theory nuts. But he's bringing this level to it, and it's kind of, there's a trailer, and then the intro to this is kind of like a spooky kind of campfire urban legend type
Tales
thing.
from the Crypt kind of feel, won't it? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a story, and he kind of, you feel like he's narrating it to you. I mean, you get it at the end as well. He kind of, he's the final thing that you see at the end. Yeah, I do like the fact that he kind of, you would say he's a bit of that crazy loon, and that, but I mean, there was a thing that I heard. Someone just released something about all the different conspiracy theories that are out there at the moment, and there is a slight portion in every single one of them, but because it's got to come from somewhere. It's amusing the fact that certain things go through the film, and he's, there's aliens, and the government are after, and then it's like, no, they're just big spiders, and it's like, nah, I don't believe that. The alien spiders, I believe that.
And that's where they like reference Ziggy Stardust and the spiders from Mars in that film, because he's like, oh, spiders from Mars, and all that. Which is strange that I noticed that. I was like, it's weird that they both reference that, but I guess both of them do talk about aliens, and they both kind of reference giant spiders as well. So I guess it kind of makes sense. I wanted to say how much I enjoyed Kari Wuhrer in this as well. I think she's a drop dead gorgeous actress anyway, but I think she's great. She was in Thinner. I don't know if you saw that, Stephen King's Thinner.
Stephen King, yes.
Yeah. So it's the one where the guy says thinner because he accidentally kills his wife and curses him, and she plays the young girl in that. But yeah, I think she's stunning. Another thing I wanted to mention as well is there's quite a lot of Marvel connections in this film as well. So we have,
there's a spider man.
Yeah, I was going to get to this. So obviously, Spider-Man came out in 2002 as well. Very popular. Came out a few months prior to this coming out. And even I sent Maff one of the trailers, and it has the webs from the trailer of Spider-Man, and it has this figure stand up, and it's like, if it stings like a spider, if it strikes like a spider, it must be. And it's like this giant spider jumps on a shadow of Spider-Man, killing him, and it's like the eight-legged freaks. And within the film, they say Kari Wuhrer says, "Hey, Spidey," and then blows a head off of one with a shotgun. And then the guy's like, "What the hell is that thing?" And he goes, "It's a spider, man." And again, they put that in the trailer as well, because they were like, well, it's spider themed, so people must like this if they're like Spider-Man. Clearly, there's a connection. But also, the young lad at the start, Kari Wuhrer's son in this, played the young version of Matt Murdock in Ben Affleck's Daredevil the year after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he gets blinded.
He has the accident with the...
Yeah, absolutely. That's
with
exactly right.
Another toxic bubble.
Exactly.
There we go.
He's not got much luck with toxic waste, has he? This kid. And then obviously we have another spider. We have the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, in this, but also Kari Wuhrer herself. She voiced Maria Hill, in the animated Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. She played Maria Hill, so we've got all of the connections there.
It's like a web of connection.
And I told you. Prattle World just keeps on spinning its webs, all the connections vibrating right to the center, which is me and this podcast. But yeah, I loved it. I even love the I even love the mustachio guy. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head.
Oh, the deputy.
Yeah. I think
Yes.
is it Tim or something like that? I might have to look it up actually. I'll try and find his name.
Pete Willis.
Pete Willis, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Rick Overton.
Yes,
But,
yeah.
yeah. It's like, he just seems to have a thing of getting goo on him all the time. It's like when he was in the lake and he's dishing out the bowel and like says, yeah, it's radioactive waste, and it's like, well, hang on a minute. He realizes he's wading through radioactive waste himself.
And he's rubbing it on his head.
Yeah, he's rubbing. But then he says later on, it's really doing good for my hair.
It's growing. Yeah, because he rubs it on his head and he's like sniffing it and stuff.
But then he has spider goo on him, and it just seems to be that kind of. I was worried. I thought at some point, are they going to take him out? Spoilers, no, they don't. This film knew what it was wanting to be. It wanted to be that tongue-in-cheek, that bit of fun. That we're just going to give you an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes of just a good time.
And I like as well that every man basically almost every man in the town is fucking useless or a coward or dead or injured or, scared of heights or what have you. And Kari Wuro through the entire time has the situation. She has it down. She knows what she's doing. She's never afraid. She knows how to think and how to organize. She knows how to get people to safety. She doesn't take any shit. And I think she's great, but also she shows a lot of vulnerability as well. Like when Scarlett Johansson's having a go at her and like saying, I'm not going to get pregnant like you, mum, at 16. I'm not going to be the sheriff to a fucking dumb podunk town or whatever she says. And was just like, and she's like, that was too much.
Yeah, I didn't deserve that.
Yeah. And again, she wants the romance from this guy, but she's like, he needs a shave. It looks rough. I think her character is probably the most underrated in this. I think like people will remember Dougie Doug, they'll remember the deputy, they'll remember David Arquette. But I think she'll be the most underrated of the performances. But I think she's the strongest.
She's like the glue that kind of sticks it all, the webbing that sticks it all together.
Nice.
She's the one that kind of, because she's in charge of the town, basically. I know the mayor, who's a dick.
Big surprise.
Okay. Wade. That one thing, was Wade the stepdad of Brett? Is that kind of what
the young lad with Scarlett Johansson? Yeah, that's right. He's either his dad and he calls him Wade, or he's his stepdad because he never really calls him dad. I think maybe one or two times
it was weird because there's no mum around or anything. It was just
I think it's implied that she's left. I think it's implied that he's not the greatest person and she left and he's got these aspirations, and we learn that he's allowed toxic waste to be dumped because it's supposed to happen soon, but they've already started dumping toxic waste in the mines because they're not really being used because they can't find this gold vein. David Arquette's character comes back because they need him to they're asking him to sell the mine, aren't they? Yeah,
he owns the mine, doesn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, and his dad died down there because of methane. Again, methane, which came up a lot in My Bloody Valentine, the methane explosions and stuff. So again, more of that. And again, his dad died, and he was the owner of the mine, and he came back to town, didn't he? It's all My Bloody Valentine.
Maybe he was one of the spiders killing everybody.
Maybe that's Harry Warden turned into a spider down there because of all the toxic waste. Grew eight limbs. But yeah, so he comes back and he's having a disagreement with Wade because it's an old town and they're hoping that if they sell the mine that it will prosper again because they're going to dump toxic waste down there and it's going to be safe and secure. But everyone's like, not sure. But then when David Arquette's character goes for a shave, the barber's like, yeah, maybe you should maybe sell that mine. And he's like, maybe I'll do, maybe I won't get a shave today. And he's like, no, you better stay still. I'm going to cut you. Because they were like, they want him to sell because it's going to help the town in general. And the mall is shown as being empty. And then when they all come running to the mall when the spiders attack, he's like, oh, build it and they will come. Misquoting again, Field of Dreams. But yeah, they all arrive. Did you notice as well, Maff, that every time the spiders attack, you hear a very kind of menacing version of Itsy Bitsy Spider or Incy Wincy Spider, whichever is your preference.
I didn't, but
I heard it. The one
yeah,
time I heard
I
it was
think I did
when.
hear it at one point, but I didn't notice it every time.
Yeah, apparently it's every time, and
Right.
apparently it was every time they played a slight version of it. But again, it was like the one time I did notice was when they're in Dougie Doug's trailer and they're trying to get the word out with his radio station.
Yes.
And the big tarantula comes in, and you hear the.
They kind of use it at the end as well, don't they?
Yes.
Some like a kind of jazzed up version. Can I ask, when they go to the mall, is there another film that you feel that this is kind of cloning a little bit?
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're in the mall, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the vibes I've got where they're kind of all looked, and then the spiders or the zombies is kind of, we've had several reincarnations of Day of the Dead and that, which are brilliant. But yeah, I had that kind of feel, that kind of the mall's the safest place to be, and then obviously they're all kind of breaking in, and you've got a group of people that are fucking useless.
Yeah, absolutely useless.
Why don't you arm up and like
they're like she goes like Kariwara says like get ready, and they're like, and she's like get ready. They're coming through. I have to I think the music is really good, but I have to talk about the spiders themselves and the way they're characterized, like the way they have so much character. Like each spider, the noises they make, the way they move, the way they are killed. I think there's a lot of character and there's a lot of time and effort. Very cartoony, like very over the top, very campy and weird.
Well, like a Gremlins kind of.
Yeah, I got a vibe of Gremlins as well. Yeah,
which I don't know if I did or didn't like it, because it works in the film because the film is not taking itself serious, so you can kind of get it. But there were little times where it's like, I think you're going a little bit too cartoony kind of thing.
Does it take away the menace of the spiders, do you think?
I think so, yeah, because when you see them swarming and the jumping spider, I mean, the bit with the chasing the guys on the bikes with the jumping spiders, that were kind of like, oh, this is quite, people getting taken out left, right, and center.
That big gas canister, that big like oil tanker that they climb on.
And they get blown up, and it's like, and then all of a sudden they start coming through again. And it's like, shit, that was just more menacing. But then when we get to the end with the town and they're all kind of flooding the town, and you get these like little gremlins with, it's like, it took that fear away a little bit. I don't think it was quite as menacing at that point.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think. I kind of enjoyed it. Again, it's very silly. Like this, there's a silliness to it. But I didn't mind it because I kind of was like, I'm buying the fear. I'm buying I'm buying it to a degree, but it never becomes like horror comedies are quite a tightrope to walk. I think it's hard to get them like bang on in the middle where it's still scary and it's still funny. Like very, very hard to get it absolutely 100% right. And I think this is definitely more humor. Again, it's not, I think is it a 12? Yeah, it's a 12,
it's 12.
Or a 12A here. So it's not going to be that violent. It's not going to be that bloody. You know what I do appreciate is they don't do the thing where, there's a giant spider walking up and nobody hears it. Nobody senses the vibration or anything. In like Jurassic Park, you would see the water move. Like, there's never that moment where they're like, oh, giant spiders all of a sudden behind us. Run. They're like, they know they're coming. They feel them coming. They can see them coming. And there are moments where it is slower and creepier and crawlier, if you will. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of... I didn't mind it. I think there were scenes that had tension. I like when they're climbing the tower and they're trying to contact the next town. I thought that was really good, and they're trying to climb up, and Dougie Doug's scared of heights, so he won't go up. But clearly not scared of spiders then. So yeah. But then he jumps off the roof and stuff. And again, because I think like you said, like the person you took to that date, on that date, she was like, I can't watch this. But I think if she actually did watch it, she wouldn't have been that scared, because she'd go, oh, they're not that threatening. Like,
I think once you get past the little spiders that we're used to, and they start mutating and becoming these big scary spiders, that's the point where you know that, okay, it's a bit more of a fun thing. Yeah. I mean, the Chancellor, the big brute one,
Yeah.
that means business. But yeah, I think that's one of the things. That's the point where you kind of go, okay, I know what you're doing now, and that the less it's still got that tension, but it's not a horror film anymore. That it's walking that fine. I mean, even like we see people getting cocooned. That I think there is a point where we do see kind of a sucked body.
Some dead. Yeah, there are some dead bodies that have been dead for some time.
Yeah,
And there's that one where the guy sucks up the spider as well into his mouth.
Oh yes,
He's trying to clear the tubing in the mine because it's something blocking it. So he's sucking at the hose, and then all of a sudden, like, and then they start crawling out of his mouth and into his face and start biting him. Which I thought was a really effective scene, really creepy. I read as well that they started working on the special effects about 7 months before they filmed it.
Oh, so the special effects are quite good, considering it's a 2002. I think they're quite good.
I do. Do you remember that, like nowadays they don't give these special effects studios any time whatsoever to work on special effects. But back in 2002, we're giving people 7 or 8 months to work on them, so they look fucking good and they still hold up. Why can't we do that now?
It's because everyone wants to rush.
Exactly.
And that instead of making some quality and spending a bit more, we were discussing off air about like Madam Web. If they'd have just spent a bit of, I mean, I still don't think they could have saved that film, but if they'd have spent a bit more time and a bit more effort in doing something with it, no, they're still in shit. But it's poorly put together. The special effects are not, and this is 2024.
Yeah.
This is 22 years ago, and they're better.
I agree.
Because someone's put a bit of effort into it.
And I think because they characterize like I know what those spiders are thinking in this film. Like I'm aware what they're thinking. I know when they're scared. I know when they're hungry. I know when they're confused. I know when I know when they're in pain. I know when they're just like crazy. I think that comes down to them being able to experiment and take the time and use that energy to make sure these spiders who don't really have human features feel like characters.
I know they kind of use it at the start, a bit foreshadowing at the start of saying, "Oh, this is this spider." But it's like we get the trapdoor spiders, and all some people walking through and just kind of getting snatched and disappearing under the ground. It's like you were walking into a kill box and they were just kind of pulling them in. Same with the jumping spiders, and that they're doing what they would do naturally.
Yeah.
Maybe not hunting humans, but
no, maybe not so supernaturally.
It's like the tarantula. I don't think the tarantula would have been going around and kind of trying to smash the door in the way it was doing, but it kind of fit what the film wanted it to do. You had to have that big gargantua kind of to get them in there.
And like that's the one everyone knows. A tarantula, is the big one, the famous one, and that is exactly how they use it. Because like again, that theme comes in, and you're like, oh shit, now they're in trouble. Got no guns, they got no ammo, they got nothing. They've got to get this message out. But yeah, I thought that section was really good. Here's a question for you. Now in the finale, one of the guy who's the son of the mayor or stepson, whatever, is cracking onto Scarlett Johansson, and her mum has given her an electric shock thing, and he gets shocked in the balls because he's being quite pushy and a bit maybe abusive and full on in regards to the heavy petting, and so much so Scarlett Johansson says stop, I don't want this, stop. He doesn't stop, so she shocks him in the balls, and I was like, yeah, good for her. And then he is kind of driving around and he sees the spiders and he's running away, and all of his friends get attacked, all these jumping spiders, and that big oil tanker gets blown up, and he manages to escape into the mine and it collapses behind him. Now he's using that and he's driving that within the mine, and we later learn, well, they set up that there's methane in, and there's high levels of methane, so if you set off a spark, the whole mine could go up and everyone can die. Later on in the finale, David Arquette's character gets that bike because he's going to need it to escape, and he finds his aunt. I believe it's his aunt.
Gladys.
Gladys, yeah. I didn't know they were related until like right at the end. It was like, it's my aunt, and I was like, oh, okay. I just thought you were like mates or something, or you knew somebody for a long time ago. You used to work with her, and he gets the bike. But from my understanding, to start an engine, you need a spark.
Yeah.
So surely revving and starting that motor would set off the methane.
You would think, wouldn't you?
You would think. You would think.
But
Like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not I'm not a mechanic. I might sell car warranties in my other life. But
it wouldn't have
know
been.
fuck all about engines, but
Yeah, you have, you've got your spark plugs, so therefore
yes,
it's a
yeah,
spark.
there
to
we go. That's what
ignite
I
the
thought.
fuel.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew that I was making some kind of sense in my own head.
It wouldn't have been quite as dramatic if it had been on a BMX, would it? With his hand on the handlebars,
like Jason
E.T.
Statham in Transporter 3.
Oh yeah, well, I'm thinking ET, but that would work as well.
That as well,
But,
yeah, that as well.
yeah, at this point though, Brett's been riding around these mines for ages anyway on this bike. So if it was going to happen, they would have gone up in flames. I mean, we do see the gold vein as well at that
We
point.
do, yeah. They discover it, and I'm like, I was also like, that's quite obvious, that vein of gold. I was like, how did you not? How did all of these people for years? That David Arquette's been gone for years. His dad's been dead for some time, not a long time, not as long as 10 years, but for some time he's been dead, like a month or so, I'd say. And they were like, oh, he never found it, he never got close, he died because he inhaled the methane. But I was like, it's like not even hidden away. It's just in like round one of the corners.
There's tunnels there, so they've obviously made tunnels along this wall. So surely someone would have seen it. Maybe they just didn't have the spider senses to see it.
Oh, good one.
But
here's another My Bloody Valentine similarity as well. He smashes the light fixture, and that causes the methane explosion, which again happens in My Bloody Valentine in the 3D remake.
Yes, yeah.
So I was like, shit, this is like the same film, but add giant spiders.
It amused me because he smashes the light bulb and then he puts the
matches
in there.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, but the spark would still do it.
Yeah, the spark would have done it.
You don't need
enough.
the matches, but fair enough, bit of overkill.
But then again, he's got three ways of setting off the spark: his bike, the matches, and just the light being on.
Yeah.
But there you have it. It's just we're poking holes in a film with giant toxic waste spiders. But
yeah, it's just not realistic enough for me, to be fair.
Yeah, I needed more realism in my giant spider movie. Yeah, I agree. Oh dear. Is there anything else you'd like to say about eight-legged freaks we've not already mentioned in general? Or?
We did mention the love interest because I do like the bit. It's like they're building it up, or what's he going to say to her? What's he going to say? And she's like, I know it all, and she just kind of relays it on. And it's like that went easier than what I thought.
Yeah, because he punched out her husband because he was a cheater, but he couldn't tell her because he didn't want to break up the family, so he left town. Because of that. And then she was like, yeah, your dad told me, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? And there's all this difficulty. He gets her flowers. He doesn't give her flowers, kind of does.
It's that awkward kind of... But again, it works between them. And you feel that there is a bit of chemistry between them both.
Oh, I forgot about one of my favorite scenes, which is the spider versus the cat.
Yes. Oh, in fact, I've got that bit. Yes, where you see the imprint through the drywall.
Yeah, he's in the drywall. The cat's gone into they're renovating their house, the deputy, and the cat's gone in there and like, go and get the cat out. And then the cat's winning as well. The cat's like gonna win. You can hear it like, and you can hear the spider like, and then I think the cat hits like an electric socket or electrical outlet or something, and then shocks himself and dies.
They just leave it in the wall.
Yeah, and the wife leaves him. The wife leaves the husband. He's in bits.
Yeah, he's on phone to the sheriff, and he's like, no, it's just my allergies.
Yeah.
We also will lose the dog. The dog gets taken by the spiders.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. And the ostriches.
Oh yeah.
Because they try and make an ostrich farm before they did the mall. They were like, the ostrich farm, that'll bring in the punters. No, absolutely didn't. But then the trapdoor spiders, they just kind of... and like Wade's out there and you can't even see them because they're just so quick and dragging the ostriches down. But yeah, lot of fun to be had with this. A lot of like the motocross jumping and everything is cool. Much as the logic doesn't quite work at the end. I liked the Jason Voorhees kind of cameo. He's got like a chainsaw.
Yes.
He's got a hockey mask on. He's like swinging it around.
Is that Jason? Is that That's not the guy who played him, is it?
No, it's just
No, all right.
somebody with a hockey mask on and a chainsaw. So it's not really Jason Voorhees, but it's not really Leatherface either. It's somewhere in between. But it's kind of a little bit of fun, a little fun nod.
We have a scene that probably Chris would have liked with Scarlett Johansson in the bedroom getting
Oh gosh,
white sticky web all
over her. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how old she was, but it's inappropriate, Chris. I can't believe you're thinking about this.
Yeah,
It's highly inappropriate.
disgraceful.
Disgusting.
Just rest that shoulder.
Cancel Chris Phelps.
Uh,
rest your shoulder. Rest your web shooter for 2 minutes, Chris. All right.
and one of the things that saves the day, perfume.
Yes, yeah, perfume, yeah, because he says that they've got a different sense of smell, and it might confuse them. So the Consuela, the big, because they're all bringing her prey, aren't they? They're bringing her like wrapped up. They don't kill everybody. I think again because it's a 12, you don't see a lot of the deaths, or you don't see many people actively.
Yeah, you just see
dying.
people getting webbed up, like the barbers. One of the
he gets
punters is on he's on the ceiling.
Yeah, wonderful.
But yeah, I think it was that kind of thing of bringing it into the big female.
Yeah.
And that as offerings. So it was trying to walk that fine line where they we'll get a teenage audience who can come and watch this, and we can still scare them because it's spiders.
So Dean Devlin, the producer, he the Australian director, he made a short film, and it was like this black and white, low budget. It's called Larger Than Life. I'll leave a link to it in the podcast. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. It's really good. It's really fun. It's very cheesy, very in the style of the 50s, set in Australia, the land of big spiders. And that was kind of what inspired him. So Dean Devlin, if you don't know, is the producer and writer of things like Independence Day and Godzilla, the 97 or 98 Godzilla, I think it is.
Broderick one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. So anything with oh God, I'm blanking on his name now. That director who does all the disaster movies, 2012, all of them.
Yes.
Whatever his name is. I'll let you look that up, Maff. You can tell me. But yeah, he does completely just all the disaster movies. That's his bag. Roland Emmerich.
I think that's it.
Yeah, sorry. That's my memory. It was in the recesses. I was going through my own cobwebs in my own brain then to find it. But yeah, Roland Emmerich, he does it. So he works with him quite closely on all of these things. I'm not a big disaster movie fan, but I don't mind some of the stuff they've done. But yeah, he saw the film. He saw the short film, was like, right, let's do that. Let's do that. But in America, let's go absolutely crazy with it. So yeah, and that's how the film got made. And that's why it's like from the producer of Independence Day and Godzilla brings you this. I will say, even though these two films are done a very B movie, but relatively low budget for the most part. Like if you look at the cast and crew, like there's a lot of like absolute talent, cinematographers, special effects people, the composers are amazing. You can just go on IMDb and just look at their back catalogue of stuff. But on both of these films, despite them being very low budget, very cheesy, very B movie-esque, there's a lot of like love for it, and there's a lot of talent behind the camera, in front of the camera, in both of these films. So yeah, it's really, really good. Anything else, Maff, on that?
I mean, they said that the budget was 30 mil and it made worldwide 45, so it made 15 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's for what it was. I mean, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, these are the kind of films we were kind of getting anyway. These kind of, they want to be horror, but they want to kind of, like I say, still have that.
Yeah, we had a lot of kind of 12 horror movies. Like the remake of Prom Night was a 12. So I don't personally, I don't understand why you would make a slasher movie. Who the two main things that you're going into a slasher movie for, let's be honest, are the kills and possibly some bare breasts. Those are the reasons those films were popular. And if you put it in a 12, you're not going to get either of those. So why the fuck should you watch it?
It's that thing where they can, I mean, you would get kind of scantily clad.
Sure, yeah.
So you could get away with that, but you couldn't quite go. So you would maybe get the maybe the young Chris Phelps going in there thinking, "Oh, I can get away with this one."
Don't know what we're making out young Chris Phelps to be.
Sorry, Chris.
Just like oh, like stroking his legs. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not a Pamela Anderson screensaver, but this will do.
Ooh, vavu, all that. Oh dear.
He's gonna hate us.
Very, very, very Vic Reeves, Bob Mortimer when he was on Shooting Stars, and they'd have the attractive like Ulrika Johnson. He'd be like, "Whoa," like rubbing his legs up and down.
But it was kind of that point where people wanted to come and see a horror film, but maybe we're a bit scared still. So it's that kind of in between thing where you can get away with certain things. You can push the envelope to us. You pick something where people are going to be scared. Arachnophobia.
Good shout.
It's a scary film because of what it's about more than. People do die in it. It's creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that they're dealing with spiders and they give you that creepy vibe. This is a different take on it.
Yeah,
but again, at certain points you can look at it, you see that swarm of spiders coming at you. You think, yeah, if I actually saw, up on the roof, there's shitloads.
Yeah,
and it's
when they're trying to close the mall, the shutters in the mall, and they're literally like full pelt running, and Kari Wurr is just getting in. She's doing the Indiana Jones thing where she gets in just the last moment. I would be terrified. I'd be as useless as probably that. I'd probably be that barber who goes and hides away with his pitchfork.
Yeah, but I'm not that scared of spiders. I'm quite happy with them.
I'm scared of these giant spiders. That's what I'm scared of.
I must admit, I'd be quite impressed with the cup that would have to go over some of these ones because, I wouldn't be going to with a piece of paper to slide underneath it to take it outside.
Yeah, you can't. There's no glass and bit of paper that you could cover these spiders with. There's nothing big enough like that. But yeah, no. Right, I think we can move on. I think we've covered that. Good fun. Yeah, I think if you're open to that kind of movie and tongue in cheek, an homage to those kind of 50s B movies, then I think you'll get a lot out of this, even to this day. Again, I think the special effects hold up, the characters work, storyline, all works for me. Again, all set up in that opening scene with Tom Noonan as well. Also, here's another bit of trivia. It was originally going to be called Arach-Attack, which is what Tom Noonan calls one of the surprise. I think it's when
the spiders attack.
Yeah, when the spiders attack, he names it. So that was the original title, but then David Arquette improvised Eight-Legged Freaks. But also, I'd heard that they didn't want to say Arach-Attack because it sounded too much like Iraq, which again, there was a war.
2000, yeah,
you got to think about it at that time, 2002. 9/11 year before, and then they were in a war, an unjust war, arguably, in Iraq, and because they wanted the oil. Mr. Bush wanted the oil.
Well, weapons of mass destruction, obviously.
Yeah. Where were they? Could you find any? No. Okay. Well, we're here now. We might as well just kill everybody. But there you have it. I won't get too political, but no, we're going to be talking next about 2013's Big Ass Spider. So not too dissimilar from, again, it's a clone board, so they're going to be similar in a lot of ways, as we've mentioned. This is a film about again, slowly growing, slowly expanding spider, which goes to gigantic proportions, and the army come in to try and take it down, and it turns out that they have created it, technically, using a growth hormone that they discovered on Mars, the alien planet, and some sort of alien DNA. They put it in some vegetables, some tomatoes, but unfortunately there were spiders in there, and one of them grew to a massive size and threatens all of LA. And basically the only one man who can stop him, or two men, is a bumbling security guard and an exterminator played by Greg Grunberg. And that is effectively the plot of Big Ass Spider. What did you think to this one, Maff?
When we pick these ones out, it's looking, I go and just watch to see where I can watch this, and it comes up and it says YouTube, and I'm thinking, okay, right. Should have guessed. It's something that you've
Maff, there are some good films on YouTube. Trust me, there are some good ones. Few and far between, but there are some good films you can find on there.
So I kind of go into this thinking, right, okay, fair enough. But I recognise Greg Cumber from Heroes. I'm thinking, oh, it's Matt from Heroes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, I know who that is. Ray, is it Ray?
Ray Wise.
White,
Yeah,
Ray Wise. I'm thinking, know him as well. Okay, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And watch the trailer, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's definitely a big ass spider.
It is, certainly is.
But again, I didn't. It was kind of good going into this because I didn't know what to expect. Now it's a few years after Eight-Legged Freaks. The budget, I could not find how much they spent on this. I did find how much they actually made from it, which wasn't a great deal. It's probably why it's on YouTube. It did get released in a couple of theatres, so I think it was able to have that theatre release, but the rest of it just went straight to DVD. But yeah, going into it, you start off and it's one of those films where, destruction's going all around him. He's getting up and he's kind of getting his head together.
Playing a cover of "Where Is My Mind?"
Yes.
Where is my mind? And yeah, it's kind of like it's a flash forward, isn't it? We kind of flash back later on to the
then
beginning.
We go 12 hours before.
Yeah, that's right. But we're seeing the giant spider on top of the building, destroying everything, and Greg Thunberg is kind of everyone's screaming, running away, and all the destruction of everything is on fire. And then yes, you are that. But I quite enjoyed the cover because I was like they probably paid quite a bit for this for this cover, maybe
just for the cover itself.
Yeah, or maybe that's why they paid for a cover and not the original song, is because they couldn't afford the original song.
Obviously, we go into it, and what did he end up going into Austin?
So he goes to Lin Shaye. So you'll recognize Lin Shaye from the is it the Conjuring movies? No, Insidious. She's in Insidious.
Insidious, yes. Yeah, she's the crazy, the old grandma, isn't she?
Yeah, she's kind of the psychic medium. So Lin Shaye, she's in the original Nightmare on Elm Street because her brother, Bob Shaye, he runs New Line Cinema, which is the house that Freddie built. So he runs that, and she ended up being in a lot of films because, again, if your brother owns the studio, then you're going to be in a lot of films.
Yeah.
But all credit to her. And again, it was nice to see some more familiar faces in these very low budget films. This very low budget film. And she plays the weird, awkward lady who's terrified of spiders and kind of fancies the exterminator. And she keeps giving him these cakes, but they're like fruit cakes, but she doesn't take the stems out.
Yeah, she can't afford to pay him. It's like, oh, I need something else fixing, but I'm not going to pay you. I'll just give you another. And then you see that point where it's, oh, yeah, thanks. He throws the cake onto the seat amongst the other 10 or so.
Cakes, yeah.
She does say, I think I took the stems out of this one.
She does.
So
that implies that in the previous cakes, there's all these stems in of the fruit.
I didn't get the fact that it was so much she fancied him. I thought it was more the fact that she was kind of not mothering him.
She's lonely. She's definitely lonely. Yeah. And I think she was like, she's being friendly, she's being nice, but she's being kind of overly, yeah. And she gropes his chest, she gropes his man boobs, and he's like, oh, that's awkward. And she's you're going to be so exhausted when you find the right girl, and it's like, okay, inappropriate, but there are a lot of people out there, and yeah, but I think she's very fun. She's having a lot of fun here. I think the interaction is good. I think the acting is good. And what happens is he gets a spider. He gets a spider on him. A brown recluse. You are right. And he's trying to brush it off, and he's like, "Don't touch it." And she's like, I'll get it. And she keeps batting. He's like, "Don't get it. You'll excite it. It'll bite me." Lo and behold, bites him, and he has to go into the hospital. And then he starts kind of flirting with the nurse unsuccessfely. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm manly, and I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, give me the medicine, and and he's like, and she's like having none of it. She's like, you are an absolute loser. There was a very much like I don't know. There's kind of the way he's playing the character. There's a bit of a Ghostbusters feel, like a kind of a Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, like.
Obviously, yeah, Dan Aykroyd kind of, I'm here. I'm a big man. I'm here to save the day, but I'm not actually going to say what I actually do because she might laugh at that. But I am a manly man.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a man. I'll show you. I'll save the day. I'll do this. But he's also like, he's not making a lot of money, so he's a bit, he's a bit of a cheapskate. He's trying to impress her, and he keeps going like, I'm a professional. And he knows stuff. He knows about spiders. I love the spider noises he makes. Are actually quite that's kind of what I thought. That's quite a good imitation of what I expect a spider to sound like, because he's like,
Yeah.
I'm an expert. I know how spiders think.
I get in its mind.
And all that, and I love that. I thought it was great. I think his performance is one of the highlights of the film. He really kind of carries you through. Like, one of the good things about this film is it's quite short. It's only about an hour and 13, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah.
Doesn't outstay its welcome. I'll give it that. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. And then we find out that there's they bring in a guy from the morgue. Someone comes in and the spider has been nestled in this guy's body, and it bites the mortician, and he hits the fire alarm when he gets bitten. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, don't panic, it's a false alarm, and everyone's running out. And Greg's about to pay what's his name? I can't remember the character's name, but the exterminator character. Is it Mathis? Alex Mathis, I want to say. Something like that. I think it's a Mathis something. But
yeah, Alex Mathis, yeah.
Yeah, Alex Mathis. So he's trying to pay his bill, but he's like, this is for an injection. He's like, this is crazy.
He takes a look at it and he's like, how am I going to get out of this one? And then the mortician kind of comes in, he's holding his neck. He's like, I think I've been bit by...
Yeah, and he's like, why do you set off the entire fire alarm alerting the entire hospital? I told you, I got bit by something. And he's like,
you're in a hospital. Why not come and tell one of us guys? We can deal with you. We can do with this. And he's like, I never thought. But yeah, obviously at that point, Alex goes, oh, I'll deal with your spider problem if we kind of, brush this under the carpet. And the guy in charge is like, yeah, that's fine. And then you see the big wound on his neck.
Yeah. No.
And he's like, oh, shit. And then we get introduced to, is it Jose, the security guard?
Yeah, I think so. I'll double check. But yeah, I think you're right. And he is like the worst security guard ever.
Oh, no, he's brilliant. He's perfect. He's, it's as if he was going through the motions and then he's been given this task to do. Because, he does say, it says, I was given a task to stick with you and help you do with this. And he's that like it's like the straight man and comedy duo that you've got. Yeah. Alex Wonderful. Is the straight man, and then
you've got the two idiots. One of the idiots thinks he's smarter than the other idiot. That's what it is. And yeah, wonderful performance. I love that, where it's like, it was a spider, but it was bigger than a spider, the size of a monkey, and he's like, spider monkey. That's what it is. It's a spider monkey. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. He's like really like cowardly. He's like, oh, I don't want to have a look at this disgusting thing. Oh. But weirdly, the more time they spend together, like, because Greg Thunberg, he's worked with him before. He's like mates with him. And he brought him into the film. He went, this is the guy. This is the guy.
There is chemistry between them. You can definitely kind of feel that kind of...
I think the actors, I think the writing's pretty good. I think the writing and the banter and everything is pretty good for the most part when it comes to like dialogue. And I think the actors sell it. I don't know if I believe the romantic subplot that much in this one. I don't really buy it, as it kind of just all of a sudden just kind of happens. Maybe that's what was left on the cutting room floor. Maybe stuff like that. But I think the real romance or the bromance is what you're here for. I think.
Yes. Yeah. I think the kind of the love interest with the
the
lieutenant,
major or lieutenant. Yeah.
That kind of feels like a commando kind of 80s vibe.
Yeah. I don't think it was needed or necessary, but
no. You see, at first, I think they kind of play it as if it's going to be the nurse.
Yes, yeah.
And that, so you can, and then all of a sudden, it switches, and the army comes in, and she's kind of got that Sonya Blade vibe from Mortal Kombat kind of thing. She's a big, strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
The real romance is these two guys.
Yeah,
and that, especially the bit when it's like it went into the vents. They open the vent up, and Alex says to the security guard, he's like, right, if you just go in there, and it's like, what? It's like, no, I'm only joking.
Yes.
I'll go in there. You just direct me.
I love some of the, like, when he's speaking Spanish, and he's like turn left, and then he'd be like, what? And then he says it in Spanish, and he's like, what do you mean? Like there's kind of like the stuff that's lost in translation. I quite enjoy. There's
Yeah.
moments there, and there's moments where they're opening up to each other, and then they're just saying more and more stupid shit. But as it goes on, you do believe, you really buy into it, and by the end, where it's like you get those real fuck yeah moments. Like, we're going to shoot it in its ass, all that sort of stuff. And it's like this big ass spider. And and again, like this is like a zero budget film. Like, let's be honest, it is a zero budget film. Mike Chavez, who directed it, he directed, in fact, I've covered one. I have already covered a kind of sequel to this film already. So years ago, I did. Me and Dan Burgess did Tales of Halloween and Trick or Treat. We compared the two films. Now, Tales of Halloween, or Tales for Halloween, from Halloween, whatever. There is a section directed by Mike Chavez, and the two characters are married that come out of this film. The lieutenant and Alex Mathis are married, and you can see his exterminator suit hung up. I did not know.
Oh, right.
I did not know this at the time. I had no idea. I'd never seen this film, so I couldn't relate it back. So there's a section in there where there's this horror story that's happening to their son. It's the sweet tooth section, which I believe is the one about the kid who eats too many sweets and then comes home and starts eating his parents type thing. And then he haunts everywhere. Kids that are eating candy or eat too much candy or not enough candy or don't share their candy, something like that. But that is a continuation of this movie's universe, weirdly.
Right. So we could have had a big ass spider universe webbing off to lots of different.
I would have called it Big Ass Spiders, and then I would put like the dollar line in the S at the end.
Yes.
Like James Cameron did for Aliens when he was pitching Aliens. But yeah, so we have that. And Mike Chavez, again, zero budget. We get a cameo in the park from Lloyd Kaufman as well. So Lloyd Kaufman, if you don't know, is like the king of low budget.
Is it Mike Mendez?
Yeah, sorry, Mike. Sorry, not
Mendez.
Mike Chavez. Mike Mendez. Apologies. So Mike Mendez. Yeah. So this film has about 7 producers. So that means the funding came from everywhere. Like nobody sat down and went, right, I'm just going to fund this entire film. It had such a low budget that the extras were not actually hired. They were his Facebook friends, Mike Mendez's friends. That is how low a budget this film has. Okay. So let's give it its due that it's, again, a zero budget. Lloyd Kaufman is the head of Troma. So they do like trashy, low budget, B-movie, independent schlock. That's what he does. And he makes a cameo in this film, and he clearly kind of helped out or did something or, provided some money maybe or, resources or funding or whatever. So I've got to give it some respect. Again, there's some of the benefits of having a budget like Egg-Legged Freaks does help, but I like the moxie and the charm and the passion that these people were, barely getting paid anything, we're just trying to have fun. And I think it does come through the film. I think it does show on screen, especially through the actors' performances. There were a few interviews I found on YouTube, and the actors are like, really love this film, really passionate, talking about Mike Mendez and everybody. And they are talking about it, and they've been very positive, and it's like, yeah, this. But almost in every interview, they do go, the special effects, they're all right. 80% of the time they're okay, and sometimes you just got to go with it.
There are definitely special effects there.
Yeah, they are being used. Yeah, I think there are times where it looks really good, and I think there are times where it doesn't look very good. And again, what we were saying about the spider characters, the real characters coming through, I think Eight-Legged Freaks allowed them to do that because of the budget and the time they gave the special effects. I think with this, they were like, we need a spider. It needs to look a bit alien. And then people are just going to jump out of the way. And then, the leg will go down, or we'll just, they'll fall over and we'll pretend they're webbed up, or they've been hit with one of the spider legs.
It seemed to kind of flip between either just sticking a leg through someone to webbing someone up and eating it instantly to webbing
carrying them away.
Yeah. It seemed to kind of flip flop between things.
And I think literally they didn't have the time, money, or budget to do anything else. I don't think they could do anything more original with what the spider's attacks than what they were already doing. I do think that moment where the homeless man is attacked when it's slightly bigger
Yeah,
is really effective. I think the
that
hospital.
was with the dollar, wasn't it?
Yeah. He has the webbed dollar, lets it down, and because Greg confronts it, but then the lieutenant shoots it and runs away, and he's
Well,
like,
Greg uses the silver dollars to
yeah,
try and
exactly. So
attract it.
it gives him it, and then
It steals it.
he learns. The spider learns, and then he goes, "Oh, I can attract my prey with this because
Yeah.
he was trying to attract me." So it's learning. It's clever. It's got that alien DNA in there and that growth hormone. So yeah, we have that, and then that hospital kill as well when the guy is coming up the bed and it's in the sheets.
Oh, that was quite.
Really effective as well.
That was brutal, and the aftermath is quite, and the practical effects there.
Yeah, it spits
of
acid in his face and
yeah.
starts melting off. Yeah, I loved it.
And it's like it was like seeing with the Ark in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes,
when they open it, it's like, oh,
yeah, faces are coming apart. Yeah,
even to this day, that still scared the crap out of me. And it's, I mean, it couldn't happen to some nice people, but at the same point, it was creepy. And then we see it in this, and I thought, I don't know whether that was intentional, but it definitely made me think of Indiana Jones at that point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I couldn't disagree with that. Any kind of face melting. I think I would always go back to Indiana Jones anyway. So yeah, we have Ray Wise again from the original RoboCop, not RoboCop 2. He plays one of the villains that gets killed in that and kills Alex Murphy. And he plays a general. Like he's in a lot of stuff. He's in Reaper, if you remember that. He played the devil in that.
Yeah.
And Twin Peaks is in, and various other things. Great actor. Always love seeing him. I think he's great. He's good in this. I think there's not much for him to do with the role. I don't think it's kind of a stock general role.
It does seem to go from this kind of hard ass, I'm here in charge, to all of a sudden he kind of flips to be, go save my lieutenant, and I'm going to help you again. You do feel, for watching this, that everyone's here is just having a lot of fun.
Yes.
And they all, it's not a movie set where, Wesley Snipes on Blade 3, if you watch that, you can see the fact that he doesn't want to be there. It's very well known, the fact that, that actors have come out and said it was really hard work working with him. And this, everyone wants to be there. Everyone wants to be invested. Everyone's having a lot of fun. The chemistry between everybody is really good. I think the only chemistry that's a bit poor is the nurse and Alex at the start. But it's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the chemistry is there between the actors, but not the characters. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the scenes work. Those little moments work, and you do kind of fall in love with the characters, Jose and Alex especially, and their relationship. And I'm glad they stick them together because again, you're right, they're a good comedy duo. And I think if you split them up or if he got killed or something like that, the film would fall apart, I think, quite quickly. Because other than that, I think that's where the holes would start showing. If you didn't have these fine actors, really playing with the dialogue, having fun, and just having an absolute blast. And you're in for the ride. You're in on the joke. They've got to stop the giant spider, and like when they're gearing up, you're like, "Fuck yeah, let's go for it." But also when they're like, singing like jingles in the elevator and stuff, you're like having an absolute blast. Again, it's kind of like podcasting. Sometimes you're like, you just want to hear these guys just chat and talk and shoot the shit, and yeah, absolutely works. And yeah, it's just a lot.
When you listen to certain podcasts, you can feel the chemistry between certain hosts. Certain, you'll get a guest on. I'm sure you've had guests where there's certain ones that you can get on really well with, and you just have a lot of fun. And then you can have ones that it's a bit more awkward to try and get them to say things. It is, in this, you just buy into what they're selling. Considering it didn't make a lot of money.
I will say as well, like you said, it was on YouTube. The company that made it put it on YouTube. It's not somebody who's just uploaded it. The company that made it have gone, no, we'll put this on YouTube.
Go watch.
So it's absolutely like 100% legal. They put it up there themselves. The production company put it up there. But yeah, and it's fun. It's a little over an hour. and you can have a real blast. Again, if you embrace the silliness, embrace the fun of it, much like Eight-Legged Freaks. If you're here for a silly, fun, campy spider movie, that's exactly what you're going to get with this.
Yeah, definitely. I do wonder where they filmed this in so many monster films, and that it's like the army. There's a bit where they're shooting at the spider, and guns are having no effect on it. So then they send out a SWAT team into the park to deal with the spider with the guns, and it's like, they don't work. So why are you sending Operation Cannon Fodder out there? It's silly.
We've got to have another scene of a Maff of the spider causing carnage.
Yeah.
Also, like, they should have noticed this spider in these trees of this size. Like,
the big ass,
massive ass, massive thorax or abdomen, whatever part it is. They should have known that. And they talk, and again, like Greg's character's ahead of the curve. He's always there when they're just about to discover where the spider is, and it escapes.
It's because he's in the mind of a spider. He's thinking like a spider.
He's a spider. Yeah, exactly. Doing nothing. All that stuff. Yeah, brilliant. Just brilliant. And they're working it out, and he's doing it. And he goes, I love that moment where he's like, she's going to want to go here. She's going to want to go somewhere cold, damp, away from people, and she's going to want to breed and lay her eggs and take food back. And then they're like, she's on the LA Strip, and it was like, oh right, all that. Like I like it. He's the spider expert up to this point, and then he's not, because it is an alien spider, and that's why it looks unusual. I think that's a good decision, because if it doesn't look like a realistic spider, you can go, okay, well that's the alien DNA in it. That's the alien part of it. If the CGI is that bad that it doesn't actually look like a spider, you go, okay, well it's an alien spider, so it's never going to look like a normal spider. But yeah, I love that they kind of reference. Do you remember the meme like, how'd your wife, how'd your kids? All that. Do you remember that kind of meme or that kind of auto-tune song? They take the piss out of that. They have like, there's a big ass spider, I want to kick its ass. And it's
when they've got the interviewing the kind of
the gangs or the street people on the street, like the average Joe street, people. And there was a meme or a video that was going around. It was like, how'd your kids, how'd your wife, how'd your kids, how'd your wife? There's a big ass spider out there, and they're like, we've got to lock this down, we've got to make sure nobody, keep it top secret. And they're like, General, there's something you might want to see. And it's like, I saw a big ass spider and I recorded it on my phone. So yeah, that made me chuckle. It was a dated reference, but I was like, I get that reference. I understood that reference.
Thought I'd written it down, and I didn't. But like one of the guys, it wasn't 2-pack. It was something along the lines, and he had the kind of 2-pack, might be Durpack or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, there was that line I quite enjoyed, where it's like it's got multi limbs, it's got multiple eyes, it's multiple eyed, multiple limbed, and he goes, it's also multicultural.
Multicultural, yes.
But yeah,
it's a multicultural spider. But yeah, they're just having so much fun with it. And then obviously you then see the spider just skittering away off down the street and that. But yeah,
it falls over, and again, like I love the ending, because we flash back. So the beginning of the film we experience again in real time when it happens. And then they gear up, they go up to save the lieutenant, because they're going to bomb it. They're going to, very Avengers, they're going to bomb it in like 2 minutes. They've got to get up there. They've got to save her, get her out, because she's cocooned with everybody else, and the babies are going to eat her now. And they manage to get up there, get her out. And then they bomb the building. Spider falls down. They think they've won, but then it gets back up, and then they've got to somehow defeat him. They've decided the best way to do that is to shoot a rocket
bazooka
up its spinneret, and Jose's like, we're going to shoot in its ass, and that's exactly what they do. They're like, and I think it's the best way to end it, because they say that it's armored, so they can't get bullets through, or they can't hurt it that way. But if they send a rocket up there, set the spinneret on fire, they can burn it from the inside.
Yeah, because there's that thing early on where with all the webbing and that, it's like they say, how has he got so much web so fast? I actually thought that myself, and I looked up. It only takes a spider to spin a web 30 to 60 minutes.
Wow,
so something that size. Because most webs kind of, me myself is at fault for this. I walk through them every morning when I'm out delivering. So maybe that spider's trying to catch me. I don't know, but
exactly.
They reproduce these spiders, the webs, it takes about 30 to 60 minutes. So a spider that size could quite easily web up what it does. Because I would think there's a lot there. But I suppose there's some realism in a film about a alien giant spider.
That ends with the guy gets the girl, that whole thing. But we get a post-credits scene.
Yes.
Teasing a sequel where it's a giant cockroach. Alex Mathis is being called by Ray Wise going, "What do you know about cockroaches?"
Do you think we're ever going to get that?
No. No. Absolutely not. I think the fact we got any sort of sequel to Big Ass Spider was is surprising to me anyway. Even in a short, a section of a horror movie,
yes,
but not to it. Yeah. I noticed as well when I was looking up some like images and stuff. Amazon have changed the title on their streaming service. They've changed it from Big Ass Spider, and they've kind of spray painted over the word ass with est, so it's Big Est Spider, Biggest Spider. They did try and market it as Mega Spider as well. I think they describe it as a Mega Spider.
Was that in Australia or something?
Yeah, some other places, because again, I don't think they wanted the word ass in the title, but I think Mike Mendez says no, it has to be that. Has to be that because it gives you.
That's the line in the film, though.
Yeah, it's the line in the film, and also it gives you a sense of what this film is about. Like Eight-Legged Freaks gives you a sense that it's going to be tongue in cheek. It's going to be a bit of fun. It's not scary or anything like that. And and we got a new big spider film coming out this year in Sting, which is kind of we'd noticed just as we're recording this. So it's a genre that will continue because no one's ever going to not be scared of spiders at any point in human history. It's just they're so other and so different and weird and odd compared to what we are and the cuddly pets that we love.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, I have a thing of snakes, but in England, we don't really come across many snakes.
No.
It's very few and far between. Spiders, they're everywhere. The thing is, you can feed on people's fear. People like to be scared. People like to go watch these films because they like to be scared. You can always come back to something so simple like this to kind of scare people off, we're gonna. Yes, we've got Sting coming up. I'm sure there's probably several more in the pipeline.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to happen, and again they'll be reinterpreted, they'll be reworked, and there'll be some more serious ones, there'll be some funnier ones, but there will always be giant spider movies or even spider movies in general. But Maff, is there anything else you'd like to say about Big Ass Spider?
I made less notes on this than I did the other one, but I think, to be fair, I think part of that is because I was enjoying it quite a lot more than what I expected to.
Yeah, me too. I'd never seen this either. I'd seen Eight-Legged Freaks, but I'd never seen this. So I think me and Andy did say we would do this at some point early on in the podcast history, and we didn't end up doing it for whatever reason. I think other ideas came up, or we were more keen on doing something else. But I'm glad we did do this, and I'm glad the patrons, including yourself, picked it. I don't know if you voted on this particular one. I can't remember.
No,
you abstained.
I did vote on it. I didn't pick these two films.
Okay.
I picked
Which one did you go
What Ship Down and the
Plague Dogs.
Plague Dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've never What Ship Down. I'd have probably been crying at this point because that film just gets me. But I've never seen Plague Dogs, so that's
me neither.
That's something I'm probably going to go back and watch at some point.
Oh, maybe we can do it next time. I'll put it in the next poll we do, maybe, or we'll just do it. Whatever happens. But Maff, as you know, as we did with the Bears, we do have comparison categories. So as always, we've got 5: writing, acting, music, cinematography, and direction. So which film had the better writing? What was the better script, Maff?
It's always an awkward one because sometimes you kind of think, well, which did I enjoy more? So therefore, the writing must have been a bit better because I think Big Ass Spider. To be fair, because you've got the alien DNA, you've got it's very short, so it's only kind of little bits written in between that. But you've got an idea of a good script there. So I quite enjoyed this. I think at times it tried to take itself a little bit serious, but it added a few facts in there. It's close, but I think possibly Big Ass Spider. I can tell by your face you're going to disagree with. But
I'm kind of not sure myself. I'm just trying to think. Like
I
there's
think this is more original
yeah.
than Eight-Legged Freaks feels like it's pulling from a lot more different films. Like you said, like My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
I feel that there's more influence on different films that they've taken from, whereas this is more of a monster movie.
Yeah. I think again, I think you were right where Eight-Legged Freaks does lean into the silliness. But I feel like Big Ass Spider is more like a wisecracking film, if you know what I mean. I think the dialogue is very witty, very sharp. I was laughing from like minute one with Big Ass Spider. Took me a little while to get into Eight-Legged Freaks, but I did get into it. Yeah, it's not a bad script, but I can't say that there was any dialogue where I was like, oh, that's clever, or that's smart, or that's unique.
It's not Shakespeare.
No, it's not, but it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be Shakespeare if it's a giant spider movie either. But I didn't feel as powerfully connected to the characters. I don't know if maybe that's the performance, but there is a lot of kind of generic, standard kind of tropes, I think, in Eight-Legged Freaks, like you were saying, that there's a lot of similarities to other films. And again, it's riffing on those classic kind of 50s atomic age spider movies as well. I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you on this one because I think the dialogue is sharp. Again, I think it's quite spread out, and I feel like the dialogue. Again, I like all the elements. So there's a lot of elements. There's a lot of kind of threads at play. Haha. But yeah, I think as a concise, strong bit of character work. I think for me, Eight-Legged Freaks, the strength is in its set pieces and its action sequences, but not necessarily the characters. I think it's the spiders for me, and those moments where you're like, oh shit, the spiders are there. I think outside of that, the characters, as good as they are, as well acted as they are, I think they're to hang those action sequences on.
Yeah, I just think the dialogue is better in this. It's like the banter that you got between
exactly
the guys. It sells it more. It's limited with the other stuff that it can do, so the writing has to kind of pull it up a bit, and I think it does.
Agreed. No, I absolutely agree. I wasn't too sure coming in. I don't try and make my mind up until I'm right here at this moment. So, but no, I agree with you. All right, next up is acting. Yes, acting.
Unfortunately, it's Eight-Legged Freaks.
Okay.
And that, because, I mean, you've got a higher quality of actors there, to be fair. I think in Big Ass Spider, the more plot kind of little sections that you kind of put together. And it's like when Ray Wise comes on, he's like, hello, I'm the commander. And, the major, he comes in as the major, and he's very kind of, it's like he's reading a script more than he's kind of selling it at times. I don't buy. I liked him. I think he was good in it, but I think that in Eight-Legged Freaks there is a bit more chemistry between them all.
I think you might be right. I think with Big Ass Spider, I think the two leads are really strong.
Yeah.
But I think outside that, the characters feel a bit.
It falls away.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Eight-Legged Freaks, the ensemble is strong. The entire ensemble.
Yeah.
No matter how little or how much screen time they have or what their relationship is, I feel like they're all firing all their cylinders.
Well, see,
I think
Alex and Neo say they're brilliant. That the bros. That is perfect. Everyone else is just kind of like side characters, and it doesn't. Whereas Eight-Legged Freaks, everyone's got a little piece to play. And that, I think it's a lot better acted there.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think, the deputy, Dougie Doug, Wade, the mayor, all the characters have a moment where I'm like, yeah, this is good and this works. And tonally, it could feel. Again, you could be right we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about tone and stuff in a bit, but yeah, I think you are correct. Tom Noonan again is great, even in his small role. Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't expect to say that, but I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, I think the ensemble is good. If the ensemble was that strong, all of them together, and they had something to do, and they had maybe a bit more meat on the bone of the parts that they had, then I probably would give it to Big Ass Spider. But I think just because it's those two actors against all of the other really good actors in Eight-Legged Freaks, 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
So that's 1 to Big Ass Spider and 1 to Eight-Legged Freaks. Next up, Maff, is the category for music. Music.
I don't remember the music in Big Ass Spider at all. Whereas you have Into Wincy Spider in Eight-Legged Freaks, and then there is them bits where you do have that creepy music, which is obviously Into Wincy Spider, and that. So I think it's a bit more, although it didn't tweak what it was at the time, and that I think, considering I don't remember really any music in Big Ass Spider, to be fair, and that, so it's quite a quick and easy one. Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I remember the themes. I remember again the kind of dark and menacing stuff, but then the strings for when they're playing the strings when the spiders are like tiny and creepy and crawly and stuff. And I think they do that a little bit in Big Ass Spider. There is, I remember the cover of, Where Is My Mind at the start, but I recognize it because it's a cover. I don't recognize the themes, or I couldn't hum you anything. I couldn't, get you a gist of what that soundtrack is like, or the score is like. I think it's probably quite good, but it's not quite as memorable or as interesting as Eight-Legged Freaks. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, next up is cinematography.
Ooh.
So the way the thing looks, the style, the aesthetic, visual aesthetic of it all.
We've said it already, but it's like Big Ass Spider. They get away with it looking a bit off by it being an alien DNA, so you can kind of get away with it. But it's like sometimes when you see the legs getting stabbed into, there is a point in the park where you see kids getting killed as well, which is unusual to see in films. But it does feel a bit like stop motion at times, a bit kind of Jason and the Argonauts.
Bit blurry as well on certain. The shaky cam in the park looks very bad. That's probably the worst sequence, I think.
Eight-Legged Freaks, the bit where they're coming through the parking lot or coming towards the mall, and you see this massive spiders, which that looks scary. That that is good, and it's many years before Big Ass Spider. It's 11 years before. You said yourself they took 7 months to work on the special effects. You can tell. Considering the film is 22 years old, it's still quite good. It's still it holds up quite well. Going into watching it, I didn't expect it to, and I think it does a good job of it. Even the big spider at the end, she's very creepy when she gets up close. So I think definitely there's more to it with the Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you can tell it's a little bit haphazard.
There's a budget.
There's a budget, which helps. Yeah, they plotted and planned out their shots, like the tanker. They go, right, we'll put a spider here, we'll put a spider here. But they know what they're going to do. They plan that shot. They know what they're going to do and how they're going to work it out and break it down to fit those spiders in. Like the shot where the guy's in the sofa and the spider comes out from behind the sofa. They clearly know what they've done. They've framed it in a way where they go, right, we need to make that room for the spider. With Big Ass Spider, especially that park scene, they've literally gone, just run this way, fall over here, do that. We'll catch you there, and then we'll put the spider in wherever. And I think that's the problem, because it's shot like that, and they didn't have time to do a setup. They didn't have time to rehearse. They didn't have time to do the things a bigger budgeted movie would have.
Yeah,
that's where it falls down for me. But the lighting, the visual, again, like we said, the spiders look amazing. They're really good. And again, there's hundreds on screen at any one time, all different types and different styles and breeds.
Even the bit where they come out of his mouth.
Yeah, looks great.
That looks like they're coming out of his mouth. It doesn't look. I mean, even nowadays you still get bad CGI and that, but that looks really good. It looks scary. Whereas Big Ass Spider, unfortunately, it just didn't have the
Big Ass Spider is better when it's a small ass spider.
Yeah,
those scenes that we described, those are really effective and really creepy. And it works because, again, it's less CGI they're having to do as
I
well.
mean, the bit with the silver dollar when he rolls it and you see the claw come out and just pull it back. That's quite spooky. That again with the homeless man, it's that less is more because your mind kind of fills in the blanks of what you can't see. So that gives it the more. But then once you can see it on screen, it's like.
And again, these are obviously because of the budget, they've shot it in daytime, so that makes obviously the CGI look that much more. It's that much more visible. That's why they shoot a lot of these monster movies at night. Like all the Godzilla movies are shot at night because it hides any dodgy CGI because it's dark basically.
Yeah.
So again, it's LA. It's like middle of the day, bright as anything. And again, you can tell when you can tell when it's a helicopter shot. You can tell when it's like a steady cam. You can tell what they're doing when they're doing it. But again, I have to admire it for what they did and what they accomplished. But cinematography wise, that's what they had to do to get what they needed to get. But unfortunately, it doesn't look as good as Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah.
But yes, next up, so that's one for Big Ass Spider, and that's
two for
three.
Yeah.
So writing was Big Ass Spider, acting, music, and cinematography. So what is direction? Which film was better directed?
This is harder because I think they both do what they set out to do. That's where it's hard because Big Ass Spider is a monster film and it does what he wanted it to do, to be fair. It may look a bit janky at times. The writing may not be the perfect, but it does what it wants. Eight-Legged Freaks, the same thing. Are we allowed to have ties?
Yeah. Well, in this,
it's not going to affect the outcome.
We know who's won anyway, don't we? So if you want to call it a tie, we can call it a tie.
I think it is a tie because I think they both do what they set out to do. It's a bit of tongue in cheek, but it has that horror that thing that they want it to do. It has that kind of, Eight-Legged Freaks has that, that mass scare of, it's like a zombie infection at times. You kind of think if this was to happen, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. I think they both. I think it's a tie between them because I think they both do what they want them to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they both accomplish what they set out to do. They both have fun with it. They both have their scarier scenes, their creepier scenes. They both have their weird and wacky and fun moments as well. All in all, I think they're both very fun films, and I personally would recommend seeing both because they're a blast. If you're looking for a B movie, turn off your brain, giant spider movie, you can't go wrong with these two. They work on the levels that you want them to work on. Sometimes there's some stuff work and there's some stuff not quite work in both of these. I don't think either of them are perfect films.
No.
But I think if you are going into them and you're ready to accept what they're going to be about, you're not massively afraid of spiders so much that you'll turn it off, but you're open to some silly, fun entertainment. I think you'll get a lot out of both of these. So I would recommend both. But because of the way this works, Maff, we already have a winner. It is Eight-Legged Freaks. And I think a lot of people might not have seen Big Ass Spider, but I think they should give it a chance. I think we both said how much we enjoyed that. But I think most people probably would have expected this one to win, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, again, kind of going into it, after I watched Big Ass Spider first. I came away thinking I enjoyed that a lot more than what I thought I would do.
Same.
And then going into Eight-Legged Freaks, I couldn't remember too much. I kind of thought, I think it's going to struggle. I think Big Ass Spider's going to win this. But then, again, I enjoyed them both the same. They may not be My Bloody Valentine or End of Days or some of the, Candyman, some of the really good films that you've done lately. But sometimes you find these little gems. They're definitely worth a watch. And that most people probably will have seen Eight-Legged Freaks, but if you've got an hour to kill, stick big ass spider on because you will enjoy it. I think.
Yeah, I think there's something for you to enjoy. If you're not there for the characters or the humor, if you're there for just kind of monster
If you
carnage,
want the bromance, it's
oh yeah,
perfect.
absolute brilliant bromance, 100%. Love it. Great humor, lots of different levels of humor as well, different styles of humor. It's not all just kind of one note. Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy there. I think you'd have a blast either way. And clearly, again, all these big names have gotten involved because they care about Mike Mendez and his work. And again, it is impressive. You've got to give him that he accomplished this big ass film on a very small ass budget. You got to give him that, I think. Wonderful.
Definitely.
So yeah, we do have some comments, so I'm going to go through them. So I don't think either any people had seen both of these, so hopefully they'll come back to us and tell us which one they enjoyed the most. But I did ask what people's favorite spider films or films featuring spiders were. So I am Jack's Musings. He said the best film performance by a spider in a feature film goes to Axel the Tarantula in Home Alone.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of this trash. I just knew what Buzzers wanted. So there's several moments in the film where you just see it creepily come along, and then it says Kevin several times. To be fair,
yeah.
yeah.
It's definitely a scene stealing one. I think most people have that in their mind because it's a film they saw when they were very young, and again the reaction. I think it's Is it Marv? Is it Marv?
Maff, yes.
Yeah, Marv. The way he reacts, Daniel Stern, I think the actor's called, that absolutely sells that horror and terror of that, something like that happening to somebody. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful film, wonderful performance. Tony Farina, our good friend, he says, my all-time favorite spider moment is in Raiders where Alfred Molina gets covered in them. So that's the moment where Indy's going into the Peruvian, I think it's Peruvian, that temple where the classic big ball Rob Boulder rolls after him. So as he goes in with Alfred Molina like brushes off a spider, and Alfred Molina off Indy's back. Alfred Molina turns over and he's absolutely covered in them. And he's like, oh yeah, you're fine, I think. I don't think he even touches them. Which is a brilliant character moment for Indy anyway. Really sets up that character. And he also says, my all-time favorite movie about spiders is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, a bit of a cheat, that one, but
yeah. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Well, you've got to.
I've got to allow it. It's Spider Down and the Secret Bores. I can't really argue too much. So the 20th Century Geek, he says the movie Arachnophobia scared my mum so much it made her sick. Violently ill. I think Shelob from Lord of the Rings has a great spider monster and would call out Marv for having a spider dropped on his face in Home Alone. So again,
yeah,
Home Alone is referenced. Max Byrne, we've already mentioned it today. He says Madam Web is probably the best spider-orientated movie out there.
It's trolling. It's trolling everybody.
Yeah, he's doing it again. I love your passion. I love your passion, Max, for all things superhero movies. But I can't agree. I've not seen it. I can't make a judgment. But I'm going to assume probably not so good as spider movies go. So
everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion.
Exactly. Fair play to him. We were going to go see it at some point, maybe this week or the following week, but he's not been able to find the time, unfortunately. And frankly, if I'm not going to go see it with him, I'm not going to go see it with anybody. So there you go. Blake has a lot to say on spiders, so he's got a few bits here. I'm not frazzled by spiders, but I do remember as a child that tarantula was iconic as a terrifying spider. It must be the T-Rex of spiders. I'm trying to mentally locate where that was propagated. It may be from Home Alone. So, yeah, something about tarantulas, got to him. I don't know if that's always been the case culturally. Growing up in New Zealand, the epitome of the terrifying spider was the Black Widow. So Scarlett Johansson
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
This was the epitome of a terrifying spider, but there was definitely a push in the 80s and 90s media in arachnid representation, positioning the tarantula as the one which must get the fuck out of here. And he says the 2002 Cronenberg film Spider with Rafe Fiennes is one of the very few films I've started but not finished. too cerebral for the crowd I was with at the time. Never went back. Anyone seen it? Worth finishing. I've not seen it, but I haven't heard of it.
I've heard about. Well, having read the comment, I kind of thought, I don't know what that is. I like Ralph Fiennes. So
Yeah.
again, I've got a long list of stuff that I need to go back and watch at some point.
Don't we all, mate? Don't we all?
But yeah, might be worth checking out. At least watch the trailer and see what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give it a go. It's on the list. It's on my massive list of stuff. So Mike of Genuine Chit Chat, he says Aragog from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is pretty iconic. Obviously not as much as Shelob from Lord of the Rings, but still cool. There's a film called Enemy that Megan absolutely despises because at the end, spoiler, somebody turns into a giant spider. I won't spoil who that is if you haven't seen the film. I do think spiders are really cool, though. I've held tarantulas before, and I don't kill spiders. It's not a killer of spiders. And my fave spider film is either Into or Across the Spider-Verse. Dave Horrocks says the big white spider from Krull used to freak me out as a kid. I can't remember it, but I imagine it's a weird one.
It was this weird kind of alien. I think it looked a bit like the female in Legged Freaks, but slightly bigger.
Okay, cool.
But
I'll have to look it up because I imagine it looks. I have seen Krull, but I can't remember it that well.
Yeah, I mean that's going back quite a few years
for me as well. I think I watched it at uni and I haven't seen it since. So it's been a good long time. And Derek from my place of work. I almost said my place of work, then I won't. That's how I've got him in my mobile phone. It's my place of work. But yeah, Derek Esoteric, he says, Dr. No, Sean Connery in bed with a tarantula. The alien spider head what's it in The Thing. And a book I covered on Tanya's podcast.
This is
Charlotte's Web.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah, Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web, very iconic spider in a lot.
A nice spider. A very nice spider.
A positive representation for the spiders. That's a good shout as well, Derek. But that's it, Maff. Where can people find you? What are you up to? Are you still podcasting every which way? And all the podcast platforms, I'm sure you're on them.
Whoever wants me, really.
Everybody. Yeah. You're a wanted man.
But I'm doing Mike's gonna hate me because I Clone Wars Conversations, I think it is.
Okay, yeah.
I could have that one, but if you follow Comics in Motion or Mike Burton, you'll see us on there anyway. We're kind of we did Rebels review. We're now doing the Clone Wars and going through that. I think they come out nearly every month. We're kind of splitting the seasons up a little bit. I've never seen them, so it's just going through and learning. Mike keeps kind of pushing it, saying, look, the more Star Wars you take in, the more you appreciate it. And he is right. And that, it's got me reading the comics, going back and watching, the animated film, cartoons and the first two films as well. So, yeah, we're trying to kind of go in chronological order and that, but yeah, I'm on there.
Good luck with the Clone Wars cartoon going in chronological order, eh?
Yeah, Mike did. I think in the last episode, season 1 that we did, it did point out that the way that you're meant to watch it is you watch episode 1, 2, 3, then 7, then 4, then 3.
Season 5, episodes 7 and 8, and then go back to season 2. That's exhausting. I considered doing that when I learned that it was out of order timeline-wise.
Well,
and then I was like, no, I can't be fucked with that.
The end of season 1, there's a big thing with one of the characters, and then you go into season 2, and it's there again, but it's set well before. It's like, what? Hang on, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's it tries to mess with you.
But yeah, I'm on there. I have Twitter. I just don't really use it that much. Matthew K78. I have Letterboxd. I've started to use that a bit more.
Nice.
And that's so.
I think I need to follow you on that, maybe, if I'm not already following you.
That's so. But yeah, I am on there. I've started to try keep a track of what I've actually been watching, and that's so when someone says, "What have you watched this week?" And it's like, I can actually look and see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Star Wars again.
Yeah, I'm on there. You can follow me. Spider Down the Secret Bores, as always. But yeah, there's a few people who are kind of slowly going on the letterbox. So yeah, I left a couple of reviews of some of the 50s Spider movies I mentioned earlier. I've watched.
Yes.
Not as good as these two movies, I will say. So yeah, the homages are the pastiches are better than the originals. But yeah, absolutely wonderful. I'll tag all those links that you mentioned and make sure that people are following you and doing all the good stuff. But yes, thank you for everybody. Thank you especially to the patrons. You can find me on spiderdownandthesecretballs.com. Make sure you use the hashtag #PrepareForPrattle when you interact. And yes, I want to thank my patrons who chose this episode, much like Maff, who is one of my wonderful patrons. They are making 2024 the best possible year for podcasting. It takes a lot of pressure off me, so I don't have to choose stuff. I don't have to constantly research everything. I ask my guests, what do you want to do? And if they don't have any ideas, I'll go, here's some I've got. Much like Maff, he's up for anything. So I threw some ideas at him and he chose. I threw quite a lot of ideas at him and he chose 4, thank God. Limited it down, broke it down. But yeah, thank you all of you. Make sure you subscribe as well to the Pop Culture Collective newsletter. Find out what myself, Comics Emotion, and all the other related podcasts are doing week by week. The link is in my show notes. And my patrons again, I am Jax Musing, Simon Cotton, Paul Mellon, Mike Burton, Angry Andy, Tonya Todd, Tony Farina, Maff, yourself, wonderful, Scott Hodgson, Rhea Carrigan, and Sarah Coyne, our latest patron. Thank you for your continuing donations. It is very much appreciated and helps Prattle World keep on turning. And if you ever find yourself in a position to help the podcast, please consider it. Well, we've done 2 Arach-Attacks. And we are going to end it here. We've spun our final web, Maff, for this time. And I thank you again for joining me. It's been an absolute blast. I really enjoyed these films and comparing them today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been a blast as always. But yes, I'll go and slither off into the dark corner, much like Charlotte's Web.
Skitter away.
Yeah, skitter away and just slowly crawl into myself and die, much like Charlotte did. No, I'm just going to go to bed.
Took a dark turn.
I'm just going to go to bed. Don't worry, guys. I'm still here. The spider web spins eternal. But yeah, thank you guys. This has been a blast, and I will see you next time. And we're going to be talking about something quite different. We're going to be talking about dongs with Rhea Carrigan. So it's going to be a different kind of chat altogether. So I will see you then at the other end of March. Bye.